All right, the quote of the day today is a Ugandan proverb, and it says that during the times of peace in the country, the chief does not carry a shield. You know, a shield, this one is quite, I think it's quite a straightforward one. The shield is to protect. The shield is to defend, you know. I think that the shield is also quite wieldy and heavy to carry. So I would say let's strive for times of peace as much as possible. Then you don't have to go lugging around the shield every time, you know, to defend yourself. That's the way.
Well, that's what I think too.
All right, well, let's get into the dailies that we have for today.
Okay, so on the daily graphic, we have High Court rules on Kweson's trial timelines tomorrow. Constitutional review. Chiefs demand more power. 40,000 barrels boost oil production. Tullow partners now drill over 100,000 per day. Afri-Exim Bank, Springfield signed $750 million loan agreement. Charles Biswe arrested and granted bail. All
right. The Ghanaian Times has these headlines. It says here, in the wake of IMF program, protect all vulnerable groups, CRI advises government. We also have here, court grants Jeche Kweson green light to campaign. And we have Springfield signs a $750 million facility with Afri-Exim Bank. And Ghana's economy increased by 4.2% in Q1. This is coming from the Ghana Statistical Service. That's it.
And on the anchor, if you like, save fee. I will expose you all. Failed NDC MP aspirant dares chases executives for campaign cash. Mobile money vendor shot dead at Akachi as insecurity heightens. Frimpong Boating's community mining sites are illegal, Minerals Commission says. Hajj board cancelled. Last airlift after shambolic organization.
All right. The Daily Guide has these headlines. It's Kennedy shakes MPP in flag bearer race. Ghana Link grants OSP ICOM's platform access. Minority attacks Baumia. Maintain free SHS at all costs. And SP arrests Charles Biswe, grants bail. That's it for the Daily Guide.
So my last paper here being the Business Finder. Afri-Exim Bank, Springfield signed $750 million credit facility. A big boost for Ghanaian ownership of oil and gas sector. First quarter real GDP increases by 4.2%. 3 cocoa producers discuss African cocoa pricing body. And that's what we have for the Business Finder.
All right. The Chronicle has these headlines. It says here, Joe Garte deserves to lead MPP. This is coming from a farmer who's sharing his opinion. Dombos want Baumia to lead MPP. We have Okodumja Nana being Ninsen Imbia II passes on. We have Chachu flies off the handle, hits hard at Dami in court again. And the scripture for today on the front page of the Chronicle is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. Get rid of all bitterness, anger, and passion and anger. No more shouting or insults. No more hateful feelings of any sort. Okay, interesting words there, chosen by the Chronicle from the scriptures. All right.
Right, so do you have another paper?
No, you go ahead with the...
okay, Citi Newsroom?
Yes.
All right, so let's head to citinewsroom.com. Some of the headlines here. ACEP raises red flags over Tema oil refinery. Torrento lease agreement. GNAT calls for action to prevent future teacher licensure exam failures. Licensure exams. EduWatch calls for review of students' performance at tertiary level. Minority demands urgent measures to curb attacks on match officials. Kumasi. Fire service investigates twin fire incidents. And these are some headlines that you will find on citinewsroom.com.
Yeah. Do any of those stories jump out at you?
Which one?
I said, I'm asking if any of those stories jump out at you.
Which?
I'm asking.
No,
None of them.
No, really.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm particularly interested in the
Teachers?
yeah, no, the teachers.
The licensure exam.
Yeah.
I know
we
you
were
were
talking
going to
about
say
that
that.
yesterday
Yeah,
because
and it actually has 2 headlines on that story.
you want to read any for us?
Okay. So which one do you want? The GNAT calls for action to prevent future teacher licensure exam, or the licensure exams EduWatch calls for review of students' performance at tertiary levels?
Let's do that one, the second
Okay.
one.
All right, so let's check out the story. Licensure exams, EduWatch calls for review of students' performance at tertiary levels. The Executive Director of Africa EduWatch, Kofi Asari, has called for a review of students' performance at the tertiary level to ascertain true trends. His call follows the mass failure of candidates who took the teacher licensure exam in May 2023. Mr. Asari was speaking in an interview at The Point of View on Citi TV in Accra on Wednesday. We should be reviewing their performance at the university level because what I'm seeing in basic grammar and spelling mistakes, stringing together a sentence is not an issue of deficit in our academic system at the tertiary level or the secondary level. It is a foundational issue. For candidates from the University of Cape Coast, 82% failed and 83% of those from the University of Education, Winneba, failed. So if you have gone through these schools and up to 80% fail, then the question we should be asking should rather be at the university level, he stated. Again, Mr. Asari stressed that it was imperative to find out if particularly the candidates had the same literacy skills they displayed in the exam back in the universities and college of education. The literacy rate failure is 87%. That, for me, is serious because we have prospective teachers who cannot spell organizer.
Yeah, no, that's serious.
That's serious.
You see, so this person is supposed to be in charge of training the next generation of students. That's a problem that we have in our system. Do you see? I think that the whole training of teachers and teaching of teachers has to be revamped entirely.
Yeah.
You know, and this licensure exam, for me, must be here to stay.
Yes, it should.
You know, and we must even tighten the stringency even more so.
Right.
You know, because it clearly exposes what we've done to ourselves all these years till now, right? And so, yes, I understand people's hue and cry about the exam because you know it's going to expose you and, you know, people are not really ready for this and all of that. And it means everybody has to go back and get retrained and go and study again and all of that.
I'm wondering how
people
schools
have failed 9 times. How has somebody failed the exam 9 times? You see, and so even the call that was made earlier in the week by EduWatch that there has to be a limit to how many times a person can take an exam.
Exactly.
Right? I think that after 5 times of taking the exam, if you are failing, you are done.
Yeah.
You can no longer call yourself a teacher.
Yeah, you should probably look for something else
Yeah,
to do.
move on in life. Seriously. That's how bad it is. And for me, I think that we need to deal with this and deal with it, you know,
Carefully.
promptly and urgently. Yeah. Anyway, all right, so we will move on. It's time for some sports news. Before we go, let me just remind you that citybusinessnews.com as well is the place for your best updates on business news. City Sports Online is our sports website, and of course citynewsroom.com. You can go there for all your credible news updates. Sports is next. All right. Now in sports this morning, we have some AFCON, under-23 AFCON news, and some player movements, as well as some Europa League news. All right, so let's get on with it with the AFCON. Now, the Black Meteors of Ghana have arrived in Rabat, Morocco, days ahead of the upcoming under-23 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, the team was based in Alexandria and Cairo in Egypt for a week to continue preparations and help them acclimatize to the weather conditions in the North African region. Now, Ghana will be based in Rabat for a larger part of the group stages, where they will play Congo and Morocco at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium before leaving for Tangier to play Guinea. Now, the tournament will run from the 24th of June 2023 through till the 8th of July 2023. Now, in some player transfer news, Arsenal have agreed a deal worth up to £67.5 million, which is equivalent of 85.8 million dollars, to sign Chelsea forward Kai Havertz, according to reports. Now, talks progressed quickly on Wednesday on a deal which Chelsea have indicated is worth the £62.5 million plus a further £5 million in performance-related add-ons. Now, personal terms are close to being agreed, and Havertz is set to become Mikel Arteta's first signing of the transfer window as the Gunners seek to progress deals for West Ham midfielder Declan Rice and Ajax defender Jurin Timber. His present deal expires in 2025, and Chelsea doesn't want to be in a position where the 24-year-old runs his contract down before depreciating. All right, so Europa League. Roma head coach Jose Mourinho has been banned from the team's next 4 European games by UEFA for verbally abusing the referee after the Italian club lost in the Europa League final to Sevilla on May 31st. Now, the footage circulating of the Roma coach approaching English referee Anthony Taylor in the stadium garage after the game in Budapest, Hungary, called him a disgrace with an expletive. Now, Mourinho is set to serve the ban in the next season's Europa League group stage after being found guilty of directly abusive language at a match official. UEFA said this in a statement announcing its disciplinary panel's verdict. The ban is double the minimum two-game ban required by UEFA disciplinary rules. And that's where we come to the end of Sports Roundup this morning.